Really great to see all of you guys. If you're here, you are interested in Bitcoin as a medium of exchange, not just as number go up technology, not just as a way to get rich. So thank you for being here. We need a lot more people that are building open source tools and working on solutions for using Bitcoin for payments. So that's really nice to hear. There's a lot of noise in the space about Bitcoin treasury companies and ordinals and all sorts of crap. But there's a hardcore group of people that are continuously building open source software, the army of shadowy supercoders, and that's you guys. So I'm here to talk a little bit about Bitcoin Jungle and all the ways that we've worked with BTCPay server. And generally, one of the things that I like the most in this space is the collaboration that we have between all sorts of different open source projects. We have Aqua, we have Bolt, we have BTCPay. Some of the ingredients that we use is also the Bolt card. We use LN Bits. We use the Bitcoinized POS system in Bitcoin Jungle. There's probably like 9 or 10 different groups of open source developers that we collaborate with. We're also collaborating with Arc Labs to integrate Arc in the kind of like toolkit of payments technologies that we could be using. Of course, there's Blockstream with Liquid, all sorts of hardware wallet developers. So my experience building Bitcoin apps has been an experience of having signal groups with other Bitcoin developers. So many of you might not be developers, but just so you know, like a lot of us devs have like all sorts of signal groups and Telegram groups where we're always collaborating and exchanging ideas, and that's one of the things that I like the most about this space. So, and Galoy also, thanks Galoy. Galoy has been doing a lot of work, the people who developed Blink. So Bitcoin Jungle started out in early 2021. And actually, it's really interesting origin story. It was a bunch of Bitcoiners that were living in Costa Rica that didn't know each other and didn't know that each other existed. And during COVID, there was this kind of like interesting phenomenon where you had a Costa Rican community of people that were against mandatory vaccinations and lockdowns and QR codes and masks. And these people are yoga therapists, they are plant medicine healers, they are surfers, they're farmers from Costa Rica. And also you have like the hardcore libertarian technologists that are living in the same community. And we all meet at like these kind of like protests and events. And we realize, okay, there's like something here. So a bunch of the Bitcoiners got together and we saw what was happening with Bitcoin Beach. So we said, why not do something like that in Bitcoin Jungle in Costa Rica? So we forked the Bitcoin Beach wallet really early on in order to change it with the local currency colones and change some of the little settings and give it its own unique brand. And we started to orange pill merchants. And we started with farmers markets. The main reason why we started with farmers markets is because these people are ultra fucking based. They are anti-state. These sales are happening on a peer-to-peer basis. It's very easy for a farmers market vendor to accept Bitcoin versus like a grocery store chain, right? Because it's usually a single person, a single entrepreneur that is accepting cash. They don't accept credit cards. So we started to orange pill the merchants. And little did you know, we have a full-blown farmers market with like 50 to 100 vendors that are all of them accepting Bitcoin. And then from that, we started to orange pill different farmers markets. Now we have 100 to 150 vendors accepting Bitcoin. Then we started to orange pill the physical stores, the restaurants, the hotels, the mechanics, grocery stores, the tour operators. Little did you know, now we have about 700 merchants accepting Bitcoin in Costa Rica. And we use that, thank you. It's really funny also because like, some of you came to Costa Rica. I'm sure some of you went to Bitcoin Jungle. A lot of people went to Bitcoin Jungle and everybody asked me like, how do you orange pill a merchant? Well, I go to the merchant and I say, do you accept Bitcoin? And they say no. And I say, why not? And almost all the time what they say is, well, I don't know. I don't have the app. I'm like, okay, well, give me your phone. Can I use your phone? Okay, take the phone, download the Bitcoin Jungle app, show them the settings, click receive. I just send the payment. There you go. And then we add them on the map, and then that's it. So we started to run in a lot of problems with Bitcoin Jungle. The number one problem being, let's say that you have a restaurant and you want to accept Bitcoin. The Bitcoin Jungle app is a custodial wallet, and that's it, right? So if you're a restaurant owner, like how do you get your staff to accept Bitcoin payments? If you leave the wallet on like an iPad at the counter, then any of the staff can just take the money because it's a send and receive thing, right? There's no like checkout system. So we needed a checkout system. So
you need to unlock the phone.
I need to unlock the phone, okay.
And check the video upload.
And check the video upload. Is that almost, it's almost there. It's almost there. Okay. So we needed a checkout system, so we thought about using BTCPay. So what we did is leveraging the BTCPay API. In the Bitcoin Jungle app, there's a little button that's point of sale. So you click the point of sale button, and then a form appears. And then on the form it says, what's your email address? It's no KYC, but the email address is required. What's your email address? What's the name of your store? What currency do you want for your store? Because in Costa Rica, it can be either US dollars or colones. What language do you want for your store? And there's a few other settings like tips. You know, if you're a restaurant owner and you have staff and you want to distribute tips, we use the tip functionality of BTCPay, so you can add the LN URL address of all of your staff so that the tips are split amongst the staff, and you do create store. What actually happens in the background is the Bitcoin Jungle app is calling the BTCPay server API in the Bitcoin Jungle hosted instance, and it's creating a user, and it's creating a store. So we don't ask for the password, actually. When we create the user, there's an automatic password reset email sent to the user's email address. But we create a store for that user, and that creates a link, and that link is visible in the app. So if you want to accept payments, all you have to do is go into your Bitcoin Jungle app and find the link to your store, and that loads the BTCPay point of sale interface, you know, the QR code that we all know with the green and the nice little logo. And when someone sends a payment to that BTCPay server instance, what happens in the back end is that our node receives the Lightning payment, and we automatically send a Lightning payment to the owner of the store who created the wallet. So in order to achieve this, what we did is we built a little open source software. It's not a plugin. We could probably make it a plugin. We call it the payment forwarding software. And what it does is it leverages BTCPay's webhook functionality. So whenever someone gets a payment sent to their BTCPay server store, we have our own little database that says, okay, so this store belongs to, because when we're creating the store, the Bitcoin Jungle app is sending to our BTCPay server little software the Lightning address of that user. Okay, cool. Let's do the demo real quick. I just did that right now. So, you know, start. I literally just recorded this. Sorry, I'm not prepared. You go to point of sale, create point of sale. That's my real email, by the way. No, I'm just kidding. You put the name of your store, you know, currency. Okay, create the point of sale. That's easy. All right, so we're gonna pay it right now. That's about $2 US. Okay, I'm gonna pay it from the Bolt Bitcoin app, which Bolt Bitcoin app works using the Bolt's library, so it's the same concept of Aqua. It's a liquid network wallet that uses the swap system as well. So I'm paying this invoice, and it works, by the way. I wouldn't show this if it didn't work. It's gonna take a few seconds, but of course, there we go, it's paid, and then I go back to my Bitcoin Jungle wallet here, and I see that I've already received the, so the funds went to our node and immediately were sent to the Lightning Network invoice of this wallet. So what that does is, like, the way that we orange pill people is actually when we orange pill a store, we get them to do the point of sale, and then we have a little QR code printer, and then we print the QR code of the URL, and we put that at the counter. So the staff will use their own phones. They'll scan the QR code. It opens up the point of sale page. It's a read-only point of sale, and they'll use their own phones as the point of sale. but the funds never go to them. It goes directly to the store owner. And I would say that about like 30 to 40% of our payments go through this kind of system. Last year, we did 100,000 transactions in Bitcoin Jungle. And I think like probably a third or maybe like 20%, somewhere like that, we're using this BTCPay system. So building this software that receives Lightning payments and forwards it automatically to the LN address. And then we had another issue, which is that, as you can see, there's no fiat conversion in here. So the merchants are accepting Bitcoin. And that's where I came into Bitcoin Jungle. When I first moved to Bitcoin Jungle randomly, I wasn't involved in the founding of the project. I moved to the area of Bitcoin Jungle about 6 months later. The founder of Bitcoin Jungle, the genius and brains behind all of this, is a guy called Lee Salmonen. I think a lot of you have met him at some of the other BTCPay events. He was adopting Bitcoin. And then Lee is a great guy. So what Lee was doing to the merchants, he says, hey guys, you're accepting Bitcoin. If you want to cash out, just text me, and I'll just come to your store and I'll give you cash. So Lee ends up like at a part of his life where like he's just driving around Costa Rica with a bag full of cash, like cashing out a bunch of merchants. And like I meet him and I'm like, we become friends, and I'm like, okay, we're gonna have to solve this thing because like we can't have people know in Costa Rica that there's like this white dude, with a bag full of cash that just he's just dropping off cash. That's not really safe. It's a safe area, but it's like that's not really safe. And it's like it's obviously not going to scale. And like, I run an exchange, so my thing is, I like to work on wallets and stuff, but my thing is mostly exchange. So I built an integration in the Bitcoin Jungle app. Basically, we created a Bull Bitcoin franchise in Costa Rica, which allows the merchants to cash out their Bitcoin and receive a bank payment automatically. There's a really nice fiat payment system in Costa Rica called SynPay. It's basically an instant payment rails over phone number. So we started to allow merchants to cash out with fiat. And then with this payment forwarding software, which is open source, by the way, if you're a developer, you can go on Bitcoin Jungle's GitHub repo, just look at the repos, and the software that we use for BTCPay is called Payments-Forwarding. And we're like, okay, so we're leveraging the BTCPay server webhooks, and we're making API calls to our Lightning nodes to send Lightning payments. Why don't we try doing something like a little different? I don't have a demo for this, but you can imagine. So imagine when you're creating the store, there's an option where you can choose to receive funds either 0% fiat, 100% fiat, or anywhere in between. And if you are using the BTCPay server integration that I just showed you, there's no account required, right? There's no KYC, there's no nothing, there's no bank required. But if you want to have some kind of conversion of fiat, you have to make a Bull Bitcoin account. And when you're in the app, you log into your Bull Bitcoin account. The Bitcoin Jungle app receives the API key from the Bull Bitcoin server, so this allows you to connect your Bitcoin Jungle app to the Bull Bitcoin kind of like exchange system. And then you're going to select which fiat amount that you want. Let's say you want 20% fiat, 80% Bitcoin. And with this payments forwarding software, when we receive a Lightning payment, instead of just sending it to the Lightning address, we say, hey, is there a kind of split going on? Okay, yeah, what's the split? 20% fiat, 80% Bitcoin. So we're just going to take, let's say you got like $100. We're going to send $80 to your Lightning Network address. And with the rest of the $20, we're calling the Bull Bitcoin API. We're creating a sell order. The sell order is going back to the app. Our software is paying that portion of the sell order, and then $20 will arrive in your bank account, and $80 will arrive in your wallet. And that's like a really awesome experience. For example, like the first client that we tested this with is a spa that does like IV drips, and it's like very expensive, and I invited the whole Bitcoin Jungle team, and it's a $1,000 invoice, and the lady's like, okay, let's do 50-50. Let's try it out. So we're trying out this thing, and then I pay $1,000, and like instantly there's $500 in her bank account and $500 in her wallet, and like the setup for this store took like 2.5, 3 minutes. So now the merchants have an option, either 100% Bitcoin, either 0% Bitcoin, or anywhere in between. A very nice sign is that I think about 60 to 65% of all Bitcoin payments that I received are never converted. So there's like a 30%, 40% kind of like conversion rate. It's like hard to tell. The stats kind of change. But yeah, we're talking about like, you know, millions of dollars a month in payments. It's quite something. It's quite phenomenal. Thank you. So other ways we use BTCPay server, we use the Bitcoinized POS as well. So first it was just a mobile app, mobile custodial wallet. Now we have the virtual POS. And what's kind of like missing in this is like some, you know, the Bitcoinized POS, it's just a phone, right? It's just a mobile device with a case, but it has a printer. And the printer is really nice because like as a merchant, you know, if someone's paying you and there's like just a little printer that like rolls out a receipt, it just feels like more legit, you know, like it just feels like, because every POS has like a little printer. And I think you built the printer, right? Or was that you or?
No, the rest of the team, but
Okay.
with the app, it will be possible to like automatically
Yeah.
do. But I helped you when
I think you helped us debug the printer or something.
there is a demo where you're printing and there's like this much.
Yeah, the printer's like this long and it doesn't look really good.
And the eye jumped in.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, so now we have these Bitcoinized POSs, and I don't know how much we distributed, but I think close to 100, 120 Bitcoinized POS. So like whenever we see that one of the merchants is like doing well and they really care about Bitcoin, we just give them the POS, and now, you know, the staff, instead of using their own phones, we just pin the URL on the homepage, and they have like a little icon, and they click that, and it just feels like super legit. So that's another way that we did it. And then the last thing that we did was the Bolt card. So I thought the Bolt card was like a stupid novelty, and like no one was ever, you know, the laser eyes things that you do. You know, I thought like it's just like nobody's going to use the Bolt card. But you know, my phone always runs out of battery, and there's not, you know, and you know, you don't want to always have a phone. So we started to do that. So we actually vibe coded a user interface for the Bolt card in the Bitcoin Jungle app, where you can take a NFC card, you program it, you put some kind of spending limits on it, like, I don't know, maximum like $100 a week or $1,000 a week or something. And then with BTCPay, it accepts NFC payments. So you can walk around now. So people have their Bitcoin Jungle debit cards. So we have a physical office. So people, they come and they come claim their Bitcoin Jungle debit card. And then since we launched that, I use it all the time, and almost only because the Bitcoinized POS has a very good NFC receptor. And also, just using an actual phone with this BTCPay webpage, the NFC actually also works on the webpage. So anybody that has a phone can accept NFC payments with this little card. And it's just a really nice UX, because people are really mind blown that they can just tap and pay anywhere in Bitcoin Jungle, and then, you know, have a Bitcoin Jungle debit card. So that's really cool. So the next step for us is obviously, now that we've proved this concept of, so our BTCPay server instance has like, well, with all the test stores, there's like over 1,000 stores in our BTCPay server instance. But there's more like 600 actual, or 600 actual stores that are being used. So it's really interesting. I mean, that's what BTCPay was made for. Some people are hosting BTCPay server instance for other people. And what's really cool also is once the merchant registers, he gets the password reset email, and he can log in and see his store. He can't do much because like we disabled the wallet, right? So we don't want people to use the store as a wallet. That's why we have this instant payment forwarding to their Bitcoin Jungle wallet. But what they can do is they can get their API keys. So if you're setting up a Shopify store and you don't want to set up your own BTCPay, you can use this system, you log in, you get your API key, you do the Shopify integrations thing, and you're leveraging this, and your Shopify payments are going straight to your Bitcoin Jungle wallet. So like, you know, we're launching a Vibe Code Academy. You know, I'm a lot into vibe coding, and we did this proof of concept for a coconut store. I don't know if you might want to show that. It's PIPAS, PIPAS.cr. So we took this coconut salesman, and we're like, let's vibe code a web-based business for your coconut stand that's on the side of the street. So we did a BTCPay server. Yeah. Oh, yeah, no. I fucked up, sorry. So like the power of vibe coding plus the power of BTCPay server means that pretty much anyone that doesn't have a bank account or a PayPal account or anything can like vibe code a website and start an online business using like very simple like WhatsApp APIs and yeah, so you can order a fresh coconut here, you order your coconut. Do you want to order some coconuts? You want to send Lee some coconuts?
Let's go.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to dox his address, but you know, actually, you know, I think you can just put like try to put anything there and see if that works. I don't know if we're going to validate that. We might validate it.
Delivery.
Yeah, just you know, anywhere in Bitcoin Jungle. You know, just click somewhere. Fine. And then 10 coconuts. And then when do you want to get it delivered? Let's do like today 5 p.m. That's fine. Just click anything here. And then confirm. And place order. Pay with Bitcoin, obviously. So this little website took about, I want to say, yeah, and then you have the invoice should be there. This little website, it took like 3 minutes to set up the BTCPay server store. This entire vibe coding website, that's like an hour. That's like an hour of vibe coding work, right? And then you can literally just instruct your vibe coding LLM agent to integrate BTCPay. Like you just create a BTCPay checkout. That's all you have to do. Like I want to be able to pay with BTCPay. It knows the libraries BTCPay. All you need to do as the creator of the website is to have the API key to put in environment variables. So hopefully with our Vibe Code Academy, we're going to be able to teach people to do web businesses that accept Bitcoin payments, and like that should be like a minimal amount of work. And yeah, so the next thing is like now that we have that working in Bitcoin Jungle, the next step is to do it in the Bull Bitcoin mobile application. Obviously, since it works in Bitcoin Jungle, we're going to put in Bull Bitcoin, and we were going to add liquid payments to our payments forwarding software, which is custodial because we're receiving. It's not like an atomic swap. We're receiving a Lightning payment, and instead of adding a LN address, we would have added the liquid address. But now that there's Samrock, which I should have, because we already started working on our thing, but Samrock is way better. So we're going to obviously add Samrock to the Bull Bitcoin wallet. And I think what we're probably going to do is leverage both Samrock and the store creation. So like in the demo that you guys showed, someone creates the store on the web and then scans the Aqua wallet. I think what we're probably going to do is just create the store from the wallet and like forget the scanning. It's just going to pass the information automatically there. So I guess, yeah, that's it. So that's what we do at Bitcoin Jungle, and really happy to be using all sorts of open source ingredients and putting them together into products that people actually use. And it's just been a pleasure working with BTCPay and you guys at Bolts. So that's it. Questions? Yes?
Wait.
Oh, Mike.
There's a lot of us now.
Right, so awesome demo. I really like how you instantiate the BTCPay store from the Bitcoin Jungle wallet, right? And my question is, do you cover on-chain in the store which is being generated, or is it Lightning only?
So I think we're going to remove on-chain. We do cover on-chain. I think we're going to remove it because all of our issues are on-chain payments, right? So people just being like, hey, I have a customer here and it's not confirmed. What should I do? So we do cover on-chain.
Yeah, that's done with these payment forwarder kind of plugin as well.
Oh no, we don't forward on-chain at all. No, we only forward over Lightning or Liquid, but not and now for Bitcoin Jungle, which is not the same as the Bull Bitcoin wallet, it's always going to be LN address. But for the Bull Bitcoin wallet, I think it's going to be only Liquid. It's only going to be Samrock. I don't see why there's very, very, very few payments that are a size which justifies having an on-chain transaction. But we could, right? Because with the payment forwarder, we're just controlling the BTCPay instance, creating a payout. So we could create a payout over our Bitcoin core node wallet over on-chain, or we could create a payout with Lightning. But
Got
yeah,
it.
there's no point, in on-chain.
I would.
Yeah. Empereur?
One more here.
Or
Thank you for sharing the Bitcoin Jungle story. During that whole process, did you ever consider the stable sats? Did you even try or?
So we first of all, we're still on the legacy Galoy stack. So Bitcoin Jungle forked all of these features away from Blink so that we're no longer compatible with Blink. So we're like maintaining the old Blink UI, which I actually like the old Blink UI more than the new one. So that's not a problem. So we don't have stable sats. And stable sats it's kind of a weird thing where you're putting funds on an exchange to make stable sats work. So you need to go long and short at the same time on an exchange. And I don't think we're really comfortable putting user funds on an exchange. And because we have the conversion to fiat to people's bank accounts, I don't think a lot of people very few people want to stabilize the value of their coins. They want fiat. They want to pay. They want fiat, right? They don't want to have fiat denominated assets. They just want money in their bank account because if you're a merchant, it all depends on the profit margin that you have. But I think one of the things that makes Bitcoin Jungle special is a lot of our merchants have very high profit margins, very, very high. What's the profit margin of a chiropractor? It's 100%, other than their time. So they don't have a lot of bills to pay, so they don't need to convert. But a restaurant, they need fiat in their bank account to pay out their staff and suppliers. So yeah, I'm not a fan of stable sats, but I think people just want fiat in their bank account. Yeah.
Just one thing is that you want to remove the on-chain payments support, but what you could just do, in BTCPay, you can very easily set a minimum limit to which it becomes possible. So if, for example, a merchant has a $1,000 bill, you just say, okay.
No, that's probably what we're gonna do. And the main reason why we were not we never did that is because a lot of visitors, they had Coinbase and Binance and stuff, but now Coinbase and Binance do support Lightning. There's very few people that don't have Lightning access. So yeah, we're probably gonna do that. Just do under, I don't know, because people do use that for large payments, but it's kind of rare. I think the larger payments are rent and cars and stuff like that. So we might keep it, but yeah, just the point is just the Lightning payment success rate is 100%. It's not as bad as people think. It's 99.8%. Because the Bitcoin Jungle node is really, really well managed. So all of our customer support issues are on-chain payments. But yeah.
CEO Panams, before he does another question, I have a question for you. Man, first of all, amazing presentation. As you're talking, I'm well, I should clap for this, and then you start a new feature. And I'm I should clap for that. I couldn't catch up, right? So, no, and that's what's so inspiring with you, Francis, is you're literally living it and then building it, and now you're vibe coding it, and I can't wait for you to deploy all this stuff so that I exploit it. I know that vibe coded stuff will have some vulnerabilities. Yeah, okay, let's go. I mean, maybe you already exploited me with USB connection, but we'll see. The question for you, payment forwarder.
Yeah.
If Uncle finds a dev to turn it into a plugin on BTCPay server so that others could use it, would you welcome that?
Well, you'd have to ask Lee, because I'm actually not a dev, so I'm a full-blown I'm a vibe coder, right? I'm a LARPer. I actually don't know why we didn't do a plugin. I don't know why, but you could. I mean, it's a little TypeScript server. It's very simple. It's just a table that with a few scripts. So it's GitHub, the Bitcoin Jungle GitHub. It's payment/forwarding. Can have a look at it. And before turning it into a plugin, actually we might rewrite it, because we did it. We did it in that was in 2022, and I remember Lee coded it over a weekend, basically, and we haven't really updated it. And now we're probably going to need to update it to support Samrock also. So before we turn it into a plugin, we can maybe redo it. But yeah, for sure.
Okay.
And technically, anybody could, I don't know what other exchanges might be interested in stuff like that, but all you have to do is add the exchange API clients to the code, and you can say, hey, I want to use Bull Bitcoin, I want to use this other thing. It's open source, so people can do whatever they want. Yeah. Sure. Open arms, yeah.
Yeah, thanks. Another question regarding the fiat off-ramp you offer Bull Bitcoin. Is it only available in Costa Rica and Canada, or?
So this currently only works in Costa Rica. It was specifically built for Costa Rica, and also Costa Rica has a specificity where there's no KYC for off-ramping. So this UI and this UX that has no KYC is like really, really flawless. If we were to do that in Europe, we would need to introduce KYC into the store. Like if you don't have a Bull Bitcoin account, you need to like KYC first, and it's kind of like annoying to do that in the UI. We would need to do an iframe for the KYC, and it would be kind of a pain in the ass. But currently, it's only Costa Rica. But when we integrate it into because the Bitcoin Jungle wallet is only meant to be used by Costa Ricans. Like we don't want other people to use it. Like we're really not interested in anybody in Europe downloading the Bitcoin Jungle wallet. It's Colones only, and it's Costa Rica Rails only. But the Bull Bitcoin app will support. Bull Bitcoin app is more of a KYC, it's going to be like KYC'd Europeans and Canadians and Mexicans and Colombians and Argentinians and the countries that we support.
I mean, my question is basically pointing towards, could, for example, Blink use your Bull Bitcoin API to off-ramp in Costa Rica?
Yeah.
Not to, we don't want to compete really in this. But,
and it's like the client, the Bull Bitcoin API client is in the payment forwarding repo. So it's there and it's in TypeScript. And I think you guys are also in TypeScript, right? Or
yes,
I think so. Yeah. So you can probably just
start on GitHub.
Yeah.
We have one more. Amazing, thank you. One question, you mentioned most merchants like to hold fiat in the bank account. In your experience, what % hold the Bitcoin actually?
65, 60, 70, over 50.
Awesome.
Right, yeah.
Very cool, thanks.
Yeah.
We have one more.
Hello, you were talking about removing the on-chain payments. I was thinking, what if we just hide the possibility to pay on-chain for a small amount that we could even set up in the settings? Because even for BTCPay server, it would be nice. Yeah,
that's what the Emperor said. I think there's actually that feature already in BTCPay. I think it's probably just a config that we 5 seconds to activate it or something. Yeah. So we're gonna do that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just saying because there's some Lightning wallets you can pay like Bitcoin payments.
Yeah.
For example, wallet of Satoshi, Blink.
Yeah.
You can pay on chain with the Lightning wallet. It doesn't make
sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We have one more in the back by Peter. Just a second.
Last two questions, yeah.
So a very simple question related to on-chain ones is, what is the maximum size of Lightning payments that you've actually seen succeed?
Interesting question. So when someone does the conversion to fiat, it goes between Bull Bitcoin's node and Bitcoin Jungle's node. And those nodes have fucking gigantic channels, like 1 Bitcoin channels. And the maximum that we allow is 0.25 BTC. And I'm trying to think of like, definitely like I've done some like 6 to 10K payments that worked. I don't see why it wouldn't work up to 0.25 when you're selling, and that's kind of like cheating a little bit because like, both nodes are being managed by me and like my neighbor in Costa Rica, so it's like really easy to coordinate. On Bull Bitcoin, I think like, I mean, we just did, like 6-7 grand, like no issue. I don't know what the biggest size is, but
I mean, I can say I've personally done on Bull Bitcoin, thousands.
yeah. I mean, I did this presentation like a couple years ago about how Lightning sucks because the payments always fail, and like, anything over 3K always fails, but like, it's not the case anymore. Like, it's more sophisticated now. Payment failures because of size are not, they're not at all part of my mental model anymore.
So maybe, I mean, the answer, to the on-chain stuff is like, yeah, if you use a wallet like Phoenix or something that's well connected, 10 grand is probably possible.
Yeah. And like, again, it's like, there is very, very little reason, there's no reason to use on-chain transactions. There's very little. It's like the privacy of on-chain transaction is like incomparably bad compared to Lightning, speed, like the only reason to use on-chain transactions is because your wallet doesn't support Lightning. And like, if that's kind of like part of the reason about the thinking about should we remove on-chain, it's like, well, what about the people whose wallets don't support Lightning? Well, get a better wallet, switch wallets, like.
Any more questions? If not, I have a quick one. Like, what are the top 3 talking points that you have when onboarding a new merchant? Like, how do you persuade them, and do you even need to persuade them in a way to accept Bitcoin?
The only thing that requires persuasion is explaining to them how to cash out, letting them know that like they're not stuck with Bitcoin if they don't want to. There is zero opposition from the average Costa Rican person. Like, I never hear about money laundering. I never hear about taxes. That's another funny thing about Costa Rica and like LATAM. It's like in Europe, it's like, well, if I buy Bitcoin, if I spend my Bitcoin, don't I have to pay the taxes? Like, how am I going to report my 17 cents capital gains? And then the Costa Ricans, they, I don't know how to say that with, this is, but there's cash. There's cash and there's credit cards, and like we all know that there's a discount when you pay with cash. Why is there this discount? I'll just let you imagine why, but there's a discount when you pay with cash everywhere in Latin America, so merchants, like, that's not a concern to them. There really isn't. It's like there's zero opposition to accepting Bitcoin other than like, how do I get fiat? And then we've solved that, and that's it. So it's really easy. So there's only one talking point. It's like, how do I get fiat afterwards? And you just click the button and you get it in your bank account. And so that's it, yeah.
Francis, thank you for an amazing presentation, for amazing answers.